at that fuego, yeah. Stay with that sauce like Alfredo, yeah. Blessings, they come when he say so. Hold up, hot to my haters.
Boy Conrad, a.k.a. Mr. Connie Westside, man. And you are tuning into a new segment we like to call at MTMV Sports Podcast Network, Spicy Talk. I got my good friend here, Oronde Christian, man. Good friend of mine. He is a really big PA representative, and he represents for the Eagles, and he represents for them Steelers, man. What's up, Oronde? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's good?
Man, there is a lot of spicy talk around the way, man. And I feel like you got some stuff you got on your chest, man. Tell me what happened today, brother.
Man, I came to a realization. I hate the Cowboys so much. I really do. And it pains me to say it, but the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. I know we're only 6 games in. The Eagles are 3-3. But I just don't see a way that the Philadelphia Eagles can win the division with their secondary. It's atrocious. It is absolutely horrendous. I think it's one of the worst secondaries I've ever seen in my life. I've seen some bad secondaries, but I don't think I've ever seen a secondary collectively like just be so horrible in my life. It's dudes can't play quarters coverage. You got dudes giving up inside leverage and just getting roasted over the top. It's just unbelievable. It's hard to watch. That's the first problem is the secondary. The Eagles have the worst secondary in the league. And I'm not kidding. Jalen Ramsey is literally like Jesus right now to the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. If Jalen Ramsey doesn't get traded to the Eagles secondary, there's no hope. There's none. There is no hope for the Eagles secondary because we have Ronald Darby who's hurt, but even when he was in, he was getting targeted. I've never heard of a team drawing a game plan up to target the number one corner. That's number one. Number two, when Ronald Darby was in, he was getting torched anyways. Number three, the Eagles had a cornerback rotation. When have you ever heard of a team having a cornerback rotation where we're going to sub guys in and out? That doesn't make any sense at all. They were rotating Ronald Darby, Rasul Douglas, Avonte Maddox, and Sidney Jones in. That doesn't make any sense. You can't rotate corners and have a good secondary.
To be fair, and now I want to say Super Bowl winning team like Dallas Cowboys. They had a nice rotation going on when they won the Super Bowl with Deion Sanders. And they were rotating they were rotating 3 corners.
Okay, but that's nice. But okay, they have a corner, and then you can roll coverage elsewhere. The Eagles don't even have one corner that they can rely upon. Name one guy that you want out of this Eagles secondary, out of this cornerback room. Do you want Sidney Jones? Do you want Avonte Maddox? Do you want Ronald Darby, or do you want Rasul Douglas? Because I can name the deficiencies in all of them. Ronald Darby gets roasted.
I would love to have a Ronald Darby.
No, you don't. No, you say that. You say that.
Squad, I would love that.
You say that until he actually gets in your secondary and you see why you don't want him. I was excited when we got Ronald Darby a couple of years ago. I was elated. But then now, seeing what he's done, he got roasted in that Super Bowl.
He also got an interception in that Super Bowl.
No, he didn't. The Eagles didn't get any interceptions. The only thing they got was a fumble.
Oh, no.
He dropped the interception.
He recovered the fumble.
No, he didn't.
There was something that he had got a turnover in that game.
No, he didn't. There was only 2 turnovers in that game. Nick Foles threw an interception and Stephen Gilmore caught it. No. Daron Harmon caught it. Stephen Gilmore forced it. And then Brandon Graham forced a fumble and Derek Barnett recovered it. Nobody else. No, Ronald Darby had a chance at interception. He dropped it. That's what it
was. That's what it was. But still, you had him as like part of your Super Bowl squad,
so
bro.
One play. So he made one play and that makes him good.
Hey, he's part of the Super Bowl squad.
No, bro. No. You can be a part of a Super Bowl squad.
You know how I feel about this. You know where this is going. Mr. Nick Foles. Man, is he good for professional football?
care about Nick Foles. Nick Foles is overrated, first off. He had 2 good games en route to that Super Bowl. He played horrible
Yeah.
against the Atlanta Falcons, and then he had a great game against Minnesota, not taking anything away from him, and he had a great game in the Super Bowl. But then let's remember what happened the first game of the season when the Eagles opened the season against the Atlanta Falcons. He threw for 95 yards and an interception. He was horrendous. That was the same. That was virtually the same team. So what happened? I'm gonna tell you what happens when Nick Foles. What happens when Nick Foles compared to Carson Wentz? The play calling changes. The team realizes that everyone knows that Carson Wentz is a more talented player than Nick Foles. If you don't know that, then you just don't know football. I'm sorry. That's number one. Number two, everyone knows that you need a more balanced game plan. You can't just rely on Nick's arm because he has a deficient arm throwing the football. He can make all the throws, but his arm is not as strong as Carson Wentz. That's number two. It's obvious. Number three, the Eagles have a more balanced game plan, knowing that they can't rely on Nick Foles' arm. So they run the ball a lot more, and then they call a few shots here and there via play action. And that's how you get that. And then the defense, they know they can't give up big plays because they know they have to play rather conservative to stay in the game. So they rely on their pass rush and play conservative football, keep everything in front of you, and hope to force a few turnovers. That's how they won with Nick Foles. It wasn't by Nick Foles throwing for all these yards. He did that against the Minnesota Vikings. He did that against the New England Patriots. But if you watch the other games that Nick Foles played, everybody knows against the Bucks and against the Falcons to start the season, he did not have any stellar games. He didn't. It's just it's just that simple to me. So anybody saying that Nick Foles, I don't care about Nick Foles. Nick Foles is overrated. He had 2 good games. I appreciate what he did. He brought a Super Bowl to Philadelphia after 52 years of starving for one. I appreciate it. But we got to keep that stuff in perspective. Nick Foles is overrated. He's not what everybody thinks he is.
Well, let's shift gears a little bit, man. Let's talk about your Steelers, man. Is there any possible way they can salvage the season?
No. I said this once Ben Roethlisberger went down, and now I need matter of fact, I need an apology from you and from Steve. That's what I need right about now. And I'm gonna tell you why I need one, because you two are the ones that said that Ben Roethlisberger is overrated, and that since he has all these great receivers, you could just put another quarterback in here, and they could do it with the All Pro O line, with a Pro Bowl running back and a Pro Bowl receiver. So they have three Pro Bowlers on the offensive line: Marquise Pouncey, Andre Villanueva, and David DeCastro. They have a Pro Bowl receiver.
Dude,
No. You're gonna listen. No.
To be fair, at the time, y'all had AB. That's the reason why we even said that. That's the only reason why we said, because y'all had AB at the time.
You still have a Pro Bowler. You still have Juju Smith-Schuster as a Pro Bowler. You have James Conner as a Pro Bowler. Yeah. And you guys said you could plug. You guys said that you could plug. You guys said on this guy. You guys said that you could plug any guy. You could plug an average guy into the Steelers offense, and they'll produce. And maybe not the same level as Big Ben, but close to it. And what are we seeing right now? The Steelers can't run the ball without Ben Roethlisberger, and they can't throw it without Ben Roethlisberger, except for 2.8 air yards past the line of scrimmage. They have no deep game without Ben Roethlisberger. They have no running game without Ben Roethlisberger. So I need you to explain yourself. And I don't want to hear about the AB thing, because AB is a maniac right now. So we don't even need to be discussing him. So please tell me what's going on.
Okay, first
Tell me what's going on since you guys said that he's so overrated. Go on, I'll wait.
Anyway,
because he's hurt right now. No, answer the question. You said he's overrated. Why is he overrated? Because I've seen other quarterbacks with weapons not be able to.
All right, so to our audience, I did say he was overrated. At the time, the way it looked, he had nothing but elite talent around him. But once you saw that this guy went down, you saw that everything went crazy. And you saw how much they relied on his decision making and his skill set. Like he knew where to place the ball. He knew where everything needs to go. Now, we try to give the athletes around him the benefit of the doubt, and we tried. I mean, look, I'm a big AB fan. But at the same time, I was wrong for saying that Ben Roethlisberger was overrated. And my friend Steve was wrong.
Well, yeah, I do. I just need you to admit that you saying Ben Roethlisberger was overrated was wrong, because I mean, we already knew that was beyond foolish, given what we saw in the Raiders game last year. Couldn't even move the
Well,
ball without him.
you gotta understand, we got a lot of our information from Pro Football Focus, and they said they constantly said the same thing over and over again. Ben Roethlisberger is aging. Big Roethlisberger, he's not. His numbers are still good, but keep in mind, think about the receivers that he's throwing to. Think about the type of talent
You're
that he
right.
has around.
But here's my argument for that. Eli Manning had Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, Brandon Marshall, and Evan Ingram, and he had Saquon. And what did he do?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Eli, got benched. Andy Dalton has had AJ Green, John Ross, Tyler Eifert, and a decent O-line. And he had Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard in the backfield. What was he doing? Come on now,
Right.
bro. There's other teams. The Jameis Winston, second in the NFL in turnovers since he's been in the league, other than Blake Bortles. Has had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate, OJ Howard, and can't do anything. Can't win. So I think it's time that we start giving credit.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. And before we continue, I just want to give a shout out to all of the guys that are on MTMV Sports Podcast Networks. Make sure you're checking out the MMA main card with The Voice. He's doing the combat sports. He's doing all types of combat sports. And then also make sure you're checking out everything red and bold with the Kansas City Chiefs, which we will shift gears there once we're done talking about this. But man, I just want to let's get back to the subject at hand. I'm saying, to be fair, with Winston, he didn't have good coaching. With Andy Dalton, he had the most horrendous coach. Because Andy Dalton, although people think he's trash, like, I don't see where it's trash to where, like, you need better coaching. If he had better coaching, if Andy Dalton goes into a Bill Belichick type of coaching, Andy Dalton will shine.
If anybody went into Bill Belichick's system, they would shine, bro. There's other good coaches other than Bill Belichick. That's number one. Number two, when has Ben Roethlisberger had good coaching? Where's his coaching at on defense? When's the last time he's had a defense?
Look, he always had a good and solid offensive coordinator that was helping him out.
When he beefed with Todd Haley? When he beefed with Todd Haley? You mean like
Todd Haley?
With Todd Haley?
Yeah.
Where's Todd Haley at right now? Does he have a job?
Todd Haley, you have like Todd. Oh my.
Does Todd Haley have a job right now? Yes or no?
Out here with what he knew in his knowledge, bro.
Does Todd Haley have a job right now? Yes or no? Does he have a job right now? Yes.
No, he doesn't have a job right now.
Okay. That's number one. Number two. That's number one.
That's right now. But then he would. I mean, come on, man.
He got fired in back-to-back years. He got fired by the Steelers, and he got fired by the Browns. So either you're a good coordinator or you're not. How do you get fired in back-to-back years if you're a good coordinator?
Whatever.
I'm just saying, if you're good at your job, how are you getting fired in back-to-back years? That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you? If you're a good employee at a job, how would you get fired in back-to-back years at a job? You get fired at one job, you go get another job. They're like, oh, you're a good employee. Oh, you get fired again. Who gets it? It wasn't like he got laid off. He got fired. No, I don't want to hear anything about Todd Haley. And him and Ben Roethlisberger have problems. So no, I'm not giving you that. No. You can make all the arguments you want about coaching, but at the end of the day, you can coach all you want. It's about what you put out on the field. Jameis Winston underperformed. Andy Dalton underperformed his whole career with an elite receiver. Eli Manning had multiple targets to throw the football to, underperformed. That's only three occasions. That's only three people.
Two Super Bowls.
You're right, because Eli Manning had a defense. When's the last time Ben Roethlisberger's had a defense? Go ahead, I'll wait.
Man, he had a defense. What back in 90? In 05. Back in 05, he had a defense. Back in 09, he had a defense.
Okay, so I said, when's the last time he's had a defense? When's the last time? About 2010, 2011. That's about it.
Yeah, about 2010, 2011.
So we're talking about almost a decade without a defense.
The year that y'all was supposed to go to the doggone Super Bowl and win, y'all didn't do it.
What year?
Y'all supposed to go in 11. Y'all was supposed to go, and no.
That's the year after we lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but y'all still supposed to go.
Oh, you mean when we lost to Tim Tebow? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so who gave up that touchdown? Was that the defense?
Hey, man.
So you're telling me that Tim Tebow,
I'm
to
just
so a guy who
saying,
couldn't throw, scored on the Pittsburgh Steelers vaunted defense.
bro. Tebow had black girl magic going on.
Man, stop.
No,
Like,
man. He had Jesus on his side, man. You know, because that was all God right there. That was no skill set from that man. That was all God. We all know that was all God.
man, whatever.
Yeah. All right, man. So I want to go ahead and get your thoughts on just what are some things that needs to happen. I guess in this up and coming draft, who are some people that you got your eyes on for the Eagles and Steelers to look for?
The Eagles, they need corners. There's no question about it.
You have anybody in mind right now?
Dude, I can name corners off the top of my head that they could use right now. Like, they don't do. Oh my goodness.
Keep in mind. Look, and you gotta understand, until Jalen Ramsey and them like figure out what's going on as far as
Jalen Ramsey just slapped the owner in the face proverbially today, bruh. He didn't play. The owner had a heart-to-heart with him earlier in the week, and he was like, I expect Jalen to play. And then what happened today? Jalen didn't play. On top of that, I read a report that Jalen doesn't have a debilitating back. So he's clearly not injured. When have we ever known Jalen Ramsey to miss a game? Other than when he requested a trade. Then all of a sudden he has a back injury? No, bro. Jalen Ramsey's never missed a game in his entire career up until now when he requested a trade. So that's number one. Number two, the Jaguars are just a poorly run franchise. Let's just call it what it is. They haven't done anything in Lord knows how long, number one. Number two, their owner's in his feelings, and I get it. Jalen Ramsey was a top 5 pick, so I think I will be too, and he's the best corner in the game. I don't want to hear anything about any other corner. I don't care what corner it is. There's no corner in the NFL better than Jalen Ramsey. That's number two. So the owner's in his feelings because he doesn't want to trade Jalen Ramsey. He wants to make him the highest paid corner. But guess what? And there's a report that came out about this. Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to re-sign with Jacksonville. You know why? Because he knows he's going to get paid wherever he goes. It's about respect. He doesn't like how Tom Coughlin's treated him. He has a problem with the upper division management, and so he wants out. So if the Jaguars can do one of two things. They could be a poorly run franchise and not trade him, and he could walk in free agency for nothing, not this year, but next year, and they can get nothing for him. Or the report that they put out is they want at least 2 first-round picks. They turned down 2 first-round picks from some team. We don't know who it is because they were allegedly going to be they thought they were going to be allegedly in the bottom of the draft. Well, 2 first-round picks is 2 first-round picks. If you have a good talent evaluating department, then that should be no problem. Number 2. Right. So that tells me you don't believe in your talent scouts and your talent evaluators. If you don't think that you can get another good player with 2 first-round picks, you have 2 chances to get a good player. If you can't do that, then there's something wrong with you. Number 1 or number 2. So number 3, if you trade him, then you get good compensation for him. Because let's just think about it. If you trade Jalen Ramsey's peak value is right now. The longer you wait to trade him, if this trade deadline goes by and then you wait till next year to trade him, you're not going to get 2 firsts for him because every team knows that he's going to be closer to being a free agent. So they could just wait and call him in free agency. They don't need to give up anything for him. So if the Jaguars are smart, they should just trade him now while he's at peak value and he's worth 2 first round picks. Look, I said it already, and I'm not kidding. I would give up every single draft pick right now if I was the Philadelphia Eagles for Jalen Ramsey. He's that great. I'm sorry. I would give up every single draft pick, 1 through 7, all the mid-rounders in between, multiple picks. I don't care what it is. I give up 3 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey right now. I'm sorry. I'm not just because our secondary is that horrible, but it's more so because he's that great. There's no other corner in the NFL that can do what he does. So the Jaguars are smart. They just need to trade him. Honestly, I don't know what all the holdup is about. They can get in their feelings and all this stuff, but Jalen Ramsey's not gonna play another game for them most likely, and he's not gonna re-sign with them long term because Jalen Ramsey already knows he's gonna get paid wherever he goes. He's gonna be the highest paid corner at some point wherever he goes because it's not gonna be in Jacksonville. That's just honesty.
Well, let's go ahead and get to the closing segment. Now, Spicy Talk is where we can hash out some of our issues with management, with our teams, and It's just with the issues with the game, period. And I've been having an issue with the game right now, and my issue right now has been the kicking game for every team. What's going on, Rondé? What's going on with the kicking?
Kickers are good the first 3 quarters, and then when the game's online, they're just not good. It's that simple
Simple
to
as
me.
that.
It's that
Wow.
simple to me. Kickers, hey, unless your name is Justin Tucker or Jake Elliott for the Philadelphia Eagles, because he's a really good kicker. Unless your name is one of those two guys, you most likely can't be trusted in a game-winning situation unless you're literally extra point yardage away, which is 33 yards. Unless you're that close, I don't know what other kicker you can trust other than Justin Tucker or Jake Elliott at this point. That's what it boils down to me.
And you know what's crazy because I'm starting to see it at the college ranks a lot. I saw it all day yesterday during the South Carolina and Georgia game. Which, FYI, everybody, Fromm is a fraud,
He's not a
and
fraud. He's just
he's a
not better than
fraud.
Tua. He's not a fraud. He's just
He's
not
a
better than
fraud.
Tua.
Come, bro, that defense last night exposed them boys. Which Rick Sincere, I still owe you some push-ups. So there you go. You got your bet. Anyway, so hey man, this has been great, man. Rondé, man, I do appreciate you for coming on today, man. Hey, tell them where they can find you at, bro.
Oh yeah. So every Monday, AC podcast, y'all can look it up. Aronde Kristen. If y'all don't know, then Conrad can tell y'all. So, but
I'll
yeah,
put a link in the description
every
for that.
Monday, post on there, giving my weekly updates with the NFL and whatnot. So y'all can go check that out. It's lit, of course.
Man, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Every time I listen to this man's podcast, he goes in on my team.
No, I don't. Stop lying.
Whatever, bro. Talking about we see world out here.
Bro, y'all are
Look,
like a
the dust.
circuit. Y'all like a circus, except you're SeaWorld. You're like SeaWorld on wheels. You travel every week to lose.
Man, get off my team, bro. Get off
Man,
my team.
it's just the truth. Y'all are in South Beach and no one wants to play for y'all. Y'all have players requesting out the first game of the season. Y'all have players requesting out the first game of the season in South Beach. There's topless beaches. There's Club Live. There's a bunch of trouble to get into, and players don't even want to stay there for that. They don't even want to stay there for the women, the beaches, or the clubs. They don't even want to stay there for the nightlife. They don't want to stay there for anything. They just want to get up out of Miami. I can't blame them. It's a dysfunctional
Man, you know
organization
what?
that is tanking.
You know what? We are a poorly ran franchise, dude, and it's so hard to be a fan there.
There's a
But
lot of those.
but I'm just saying, it's just so tough to be a fan of a team that first off, to me, I still believe that we should change the divisions, change the division format. Let us go to the AFC South, and y'all send what you call it, Indianapolis to the AFC East. That way we can change it up a little bit because it's just
No.
ridiculous on
No,
our
you
end.
just need to compete. That's what you man, out of all the dysfunctional
We gotta play teams in the cold. In the
so
cold.
so
Instead of trying to make it
so
where the teams can play in the South, and then we'll go to the
so
cold once or twice. Our divisional games are always in the cold.
so
It's always in the cold.
so well, part of football is the elements. But out of all the dysfunctional organizations, y'all are the one that at least has a plan right now. Y'all have first round picks, so at least y'all are trying to, tank for a quarterback and do something. We don't know what Washington's doing. They're all over the place. Cincinnati,
Man,
they're. Arizona,
man,
they drafted 2 quarterbacks in 2 years. I like Kyler Murray, but they drafted 2 quarterbacks with their top pick in 2 years, so we don't know what they're doing right now.
man.
Cliff Kingsbury looks suspect.
He's
I
very
mean, it's just all over the place with a lot of these teams, if we're being honest. But overall, like I said, I don't think the Eagles can contend unless they get Jalen Ramsey, because Carson Wentz has literally caught the Aaron Rodgers disease. He's caught the Aaron Rodgers disease. For years, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a competent receiving core. He didn't have a competent running game, and he had one of the worst defenses in the league. And right now, Carson Wentz has the worst secondary in the league by far. Eagles are tops against the run. You would think if you're tops against the run, you have some semblance of a pass defense, but their pass defense is horrendous. It's just horrible. Their running game is suspect. I don't know why their O-line can't block, and they have 3 All Pros on the O-line. But that's beyond me. And then their receivers are leading the league in drops. You had Ertz drop a ball today, and he fumbled a ball. You had Matt Collins drop a touchdown pass, and then you had Alshon Jeffrey drop a key third down pass in the beginning of the game where you were down like 14-3.
Right.
And then the Eagles should be 5-0. They would have been 5-0 going into this game if Aguilar had hands and if JJ Arcega-Whiteside had hands against the Detroit Lions. It's like, as a quarterback, you can only do but so much. There's certain things that are just out of your control. And all Carson Wentz can do is throw the ball. I don't want to hear anything about Nick Foles and this and that because Nick Foles simply can't make the throws that Carson Wentz does, number one. He's not as athletically gifted as him. He's not as talented as a thrower as him. And it's just like no one was dropping the ball when Nick Foles was throwing these people the ball. Now all of a sudden Alshon can't catch the ball. This dude looks like when he's running, it looks like he has a truck on his back. It literally looks like there's a truck on his back. He's so slow in the open field. The one thing I noticed about the Eagles receivers is they just don't have any guy that you're really scared of. Like you look in their receiving.
They don't have no one they can rely on. There's no reliability on that.
You look in their receiving core, and there's a lot of good guys, but there's not that one guy that you're just like scared of. Other than Deshaun Jackson, he's 32 years old. When you look at Alshon, you're like, yeah, he's a good receiver. Yeah, he's respectable. You look at Deshaun Jackson, yeah, he's a deep threat. He could do everything. You look at Nelson Aguilar, okay.
They used to have another guy. Jerry Maclin used to be that guy.
Yeah.
Well, he was a reliable receiver.
Yeah, Jeremy Maclin could go deep too, but yeah, you look at Nelson Aguilar, he's decent. Zach Ertz, okay, he's good, but he's not beating you more than 10 to 12 yards down the field, so he's not a deep threat. Dallas Goedert's a good tight end. He'd be a number 1 tight end on most teams, but he's a number 2 tight end because of Zach Ertz, obviously. And then you look at JJ Arcega-Whiteside, you expect him to be a red zone threat, okay, he hasn't done much this year. And then you look at the running backs, you're like, okay, Miles Sanders, you invested a second-round pick in him. He was Saquon Barkley's backup, but he was their best deep threat today. And then you look at Jordan Howard, you gave a 4th-round pick for him, but he's just a first and second down back. He's not a pass catcher out of the backfield. So that kind of limits his opportunities. So it's like there's a lot of people in the Eagles squad that you like, and they have depth. It's like, yeah, they have depth, but it's not anybody. There's no Hopkins. There's no Julio. There's no Odell. There's no A.J. Green. None of those guys. There's not even Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen. The guys that roasted them today. There's not even one of those guys. So it's just like, I hate to say it, but I don't think the Eagles can go anywhere unless they trade for a couple corners, not just one corner. They got to trade for a few corners. Like they need to be giving up multiple draft picks to get some guys because other than that, I don't know how they can compete for a Super Bowl. I know they think they can compete for a Super Bowl, but as a fan watching it, I'm sorry, I don't see how they can beat any of the teams that are going to be in the playoffs with this porous of a secondary. It's sad. It's sad to watch. It really is.
Well, guys, man, thank you for tuning in, man. Rondé, man, brother, I love you, man. Thank you for coming in, bro.
Yo, no problem. Love you too.
All right, man. Guys, make sure you check out the YouTube channel. I will have Rondé's podcast.
What are the Cowboys doing?
we watching the Cowboys game currently.
They just try to run a quarterback run on 4th and 2. Why would you run that on 4th? What is the? I don't know. Let's talk about the Cowboys right quick, bro, man. Hold on a second.
Hey, wait. We got spicy talk extra.
Let me ask you this, bro, because this is something I've been talking to these Cowboys fans, man, and I respect the Cowboys. They have a great roster. I really do. I'm not joking.
Hey, shout out before you do that. Shout out to my man, bro. Oh my God, he's a guy on our team, man. He constantly talks about the freaking Cowboys, man. Oh, man, I can't think of his name right now. But, man, shout out to you. You know who you are. Bruh.
Man, let me ask you a question, bruh. Do you think that the Cowboys like Dak Prescott? Like, do you think that they want to pay him? Because I don't think that they do. I really don't think that they do.
They do. I mean, they don't believe in him. They like him.
Oh,
they
no.
Don't believe.
Dude, turn around. Turn around real quick. Turn around.
Oh, what? The 92-yard reception.
Look. I I don't think that the Cowboys believe in Dak Prescott as much as they say they do, bro. And here's my theory, right? So, quarterbacks are getting paid excess 100 million guaranteed. Like we just saw Carson Wentz get 107 million, and then Jared Goff got 110 right before the start of the season, right?
Oh wait, hold on before you. It was Jay Kells. Jay Kells, shout out to you because I'm coming after you next for spicy talk. But let's go.
Yeah. So here's my thing. The Cowboys paid Ezekiel Elliott $100 million. Now he got like 50 million guaranteed. I think out of the 100 million, but he got the biggest contract ever for a running back. But they gave him $100 million contract before Dak. Ezekiel Elliott has had multiple off the field incidents. Dak hasn't had one. He's been a model citizen.
Right.
But yet they gave $100 million to the running back first instead of the quarterback. And here's my thing. Why
they don't believe in the quarterback?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like everyone keeps saying, like, oh, they believe in Dak. Jerry keeps saying, I believe in Dak. But why haven't you given a contract extension? It's not because of lack of cap either, because they have plenty of cap space to sign Dak Prescott too. So I think that they're going to use this season as a litmus test because they got Kellen Moore, who's predominantly going to throw the football out of 11 personnel. For y'all who don't know what 11 personnel is, it's 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. But Kellen Moore's going to run a lot more 11 personnel, spread the field out and throw it. And so I think they want to see if Dak's going to be that guy who can throw the football consistently. But I mean, the Cowboys are a running built team. Basically, they're built to run the ball with Ezekiel Elliott because we all know what Dak is when Zeke doesn't run for at least 75 plus yards. He's 1-9. So that's my theory. I think Dak's good. I don't think he's better than Carson Wentz, but I think that he is a good quarterback. I think he is a little over criticized. But I just don't think the Cowboys believe in him. I really don't, because why would you give $100 million to a running back instead of the most important position, arguably all sports, the quarterback? The quarterback's going to play the person that's going to get you to the Super Bowl. We haven't seen an elite running back win a Super Bowl since Emmitt Smith and Terrell Davis. Those are probably the last ones to win a Super Bowl for a team. Other than that, I mean, it's been Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, Joe Flacco's not that good, but Joe Flacco, I guess. And then, but it's been those type of guys. The Russell Wilson's won one. So I just don't think that the Cowboys believe him, but that's just my opinion. I think they already would have paid him by now. Nobody else hesitating. If you got a franchise quarterback, why would you hesitate paying him?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's just my theory.
Well, look, man, we over time, man, and again, thank you, Rondé, man. Look, man. If you don't check out my man's podcast, you're a loser, bro. Real talk. I'm gonna call that out there because my man has the hot takes for a season, bro. But I gotta get him back on to the show. Honestly, me and him, we gotta link up. We gotta get our own show, man. But we gotta get him back onto the show. All right, man. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. This is your boy Connie Westside. I'm from my team, my voice, and this has been another session of Spicy Talk.
On top, boy, they know I got that fuego, 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 came up from that bando, ay, put in work like Rambo, ay, tell him goons a little, you know I got that fuego, that fuego, I got that sauce at that fuego, stay with that sauce like Alfredo, blessings they come when he say so, hold up, hot to my haters, I'm